Dennis, bees seem to be attracted to things that have already been hit by pesticides?
Yes, Rob, it's quite a concern really. You know, how we do rely on bees in the world. Food production is very much bee dependent. The scientists in Dublin have found that they've done some testing with bees in terms of nectar, and they've found that they're attracted more to plants containing nectar that have been treated with pesticides.
And it sounds like a suicide run, doesn't it?
It is a little bit of a suicide run, and of course there's a great debate over this colony collapse thing and what's happening in bees getting viruses and bees getting sick and generally ill health within the bees. And of course, if this is a trend of the bees to go towards plants containing nectar, which have been treated with pesticides, they're actually going to get an overdose of pesticide.
It's going to build up over a period of time very quickly.
They're certainly going to have the flu, without a doubt, from that. And so, not too sure how that, you know, it's new knowledge and it's come out, but how you get around that, or whether...
Well, you've been a great advocate of sort of spraying at night when the bees aren't around, but how long is the residual pesticide there for?
Well, it depends on the product. Some of them fumigate sort of overnight and gone. They're the very, very safe ones. Some will go systemic and inside the sap system of the plant. That's probably okay too. Perhaps some of the most dangerous ones may be contact type fungicides or insecticides that may sit on the outside of the leaf for quite a while. But the poor old bees, if you look into sort of horticultural crops and the various type of pesticides, fungicides, insecticides, all sorts of growth regulators, all sorts of things that go on there, there's going to be a cocktail of various sorts of products on there, and so it's quite alarming to think that bees are attracted more to those type of plants than ones that haven't been treated.
Well, especially as you guys pay for pollination bees. I mean, if people, the aporists are going to go, nah.
Well, that's right. We don't want to get them in on a kamikaze run,
no.
Basically, and we need to look after those hives. And
so what's going to happen is that an apiarist is going to say to you what insecticides you're using and when.
Yes, and has every right to, and of course good practice is to keep very good records of all those things and to have read the labels thoroughly and know how and when to use them for safety. But if it's an inherent thing within the bees that they're going to go there, they are going to get some sort of dosage. But in terms of pollination, it also means that those treated crops are probably getting more than their fair share of pollination services from the poor old kamikaze bees. Yes.
Well, on a different note, but just as sad, the grain prices.
Yes, Rob, there's quite a concern amongst grain farmers as to how much grain they should be planting for the coming year, what they're going to get for the grain that's in their silos that's unsold at the moment. And I must say at the moment prices are a little bit in free fall, and that some of the big co-ops are fighting each other over the palm kernel price. And so
that's coming down and down and down.
Down and down and down with intense competition between them, and the co-ops are supposed to be owned by the farmers. And
yeah, they are actually.
It's not.
They are.
It's not a good look that palm kernel price is coming down and down and down, which is dragging the grain price down as well. All I would say is, you know, New Zealand grown grain is very good quality. There's a food safety and traceability trail there for it. Shop at home, leave that palm kernel in Asia.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who will tell you horrific stories about it.
Yes, there's been all sorts of things found in it and that type of thing. I've heard.
If you need bulk, why don't you use straw?
Well, that's right. You know, and I've heard of vets opening up cows that have been on palm kernel for around about 4 years, 3 to 4 years, and find the inside of the stomach is bleeding because of the rasping effect of. Basically, it's almost wood shavings.
Yeah, and that's not going to help your digestion at all.
Not at all.
Certification entries?
Yes, Rob, just farmers have planted their crops now, their clovers and grasses and things like that. They've got the basic tags from the labels. They will have made a decision now whether that crop's going to make it or not, or made the choice of several paddocks. No sense sitting around and waiting for late fees to accumulate. Get on a wet day, winter's day, good job. get those certification entries in and get it out of the way, and then the people in the Bureau can see their workload and plan accordingly, and let's do it quite orderly.
It's like your GST. You don't want to do it, but once you do, you feel good.
Absolutely. It's just tick that job off, another one done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Young grass and clovers, what's happening there?
Yes, Rob, we've had a pretty good growthy autumn. It's been a little bit dry, and farmers have had to supplement the water, natural water, with irrigation, but most crops have established quite well, and soil temperatures have remained quite high. So weeds are also growing prolifically. Get onto them now while they're young, and before you start feeding those grasses and clovers, as you can get away from the residues of your herbicides nice safely. If you get them on now, you'll get a better job on the weeds, and it'll be safe for when you want to put stock on that feed.
Now, you talked briefly about pricing. How's the wheat sowing going? Is it in full swing?
It is in full swing. Farmers get a little bit perplexed when you say we need 600 heads per square metre at harvest time to optimise yield potential. That starts right at the planting rate, the sowing rate, which is influenced by so many different things. It's influenced by the vigour and the germination of the seed, the size of the seed, how many pickles there are per kilograms to set your sowing rate, then your EFE, which is your expected field emergence. And at this time of year, when the ground's quite warm, your field emergence is a lot higher than if you're trying to drill something in July when soil temperatures are really, really low and your establishment's not the same. So there's a whole host of things to be thought about before you get to the 600 heads per square metre.
Did you talk a wee while ago about sowing less so the light can get in?
Well, that's another thing. Is all about plant nutrition, plant moisture, and light penetration. So precision planting is something that's done to maximise all those things. But within nature, there are huge variations of plants that are capable of tillering out and filling in their own gaps naturally, or some that don't and need the plant numbers per square metre to do that for them. But ultimately, we're harvesting light, we're harvesting solar radiation. That's what we're harvesting. And so in terms of chlorophyll and the green area, or the biomass, things like sugarcane and maize are the top performers based on their ability to intercept radiation with their huge green leaf area. And so if you just think back and say, okay, I'm going for the maximum harvesting area that I can, and to get this, I do this.
So it is pretty complex, isn't it, really?
Well, it is. It's simple, but sometimes it is complex to get to that optimum thing. And in nature, with insects and various other pests having a go at it,
You can get your spray down as well.
well, you can.
Exactly.
You can.
Dennis,
Yes.
thank you very much indeed.